Rhea snapped her eyes open to be welcomed with the familiar white ceiling of Poseidon's library. Her eye twitched. Another nightmare. Thank Cronus, I appreciate it very much, Rhea said sarcastically. Fuck you, I won't help you, son of a fucking cunt. Poseidon scoffed. The filthy satyr is calling you. He's not filthy. Rhea frowned. It's revolting. Rhea deadpanned before she sent her consciousness outside. This time she opened her eyes to see Grover's face. Sup, she lives. Annabeth said. You slept long enough for me to cook breakfast. Annabeth tossed her a bag of nacho-flavored corn chips from Auntie M's snack bar and Grover went exploring. Look, he found a friend. Grover was sitting cross-legged on a blanket with something fuzzy in his lap, a dirty, unnaturally pink poodle. The poodle yapped at Rhea suspiciously. Grover said no, she's not. Rhea sneered at it. What is this thing doing here? The poodle growled. This thing, Grover warned, is our ticket west. Be nice to him, we have enough money. Throw that thing away. Grover ignored the question. Rhea, meet Gladiola. Gladiola. Rhea stared at Annabeth, who let out an hem. The daughter of the sea knew what Annabeth wanted her to do and she refused. I'm not saying hello to a pink poodle. Rhea said. Forget it, Rhea. Annabeth said. I said hello to the poodle. You say hello to the poodle. The poodle growled and Rhea full on glared while looking down at it. She looked downright intimidating. The poodle ears flattened on his head and run behind Grover to hide while whimpering, tail between his legs. That was, I thought, filthy mutt. Rhea glared at the dog. Still, I fucking hate dogs. I'm more of a cat person. Rhea, that wasn't nice. Annabeth frowned. I am not sorry, I love all animals but dogs, Rhea said. Grover explained that he'd come across Gladiola in the woods and they'd struck up a conversation. The poodle had run away from a rich local family who'd posted a $200 reward for his return. Gladiola didn't really want to go back to his family, but he was willing to if it meant helping Grover. How does Gladiola know about the reward? Rhea asked. Wait, don't answer that. He read the signs. Duh, of course, silly me. Grover gave her a blank look. Never steal the words from my mouth, it's creepy. Rhea grinned. So we turn in Gladiola, Annabeth explained in her best strategy voice. We get money and we buy tickets to Los Angeles. Simple. You guys don't listen. We have clap money. Clap. I took all the money from Medusa's place. Another 200 won't hurt. Annabeth shrugged. Rhea has to agree. Touché. She put her bag on. We are not taking another bus, she said. No, Annabeth agreed. She pointed downhill toward train tracks. There's an Amtrak station half a mile that way. According to Gladiola, the westbound train leaves at noon. They used the reward money for returning Gladiola the poodle to purchase tickets as far as Denver. Grover was the only one who was sleeping and he was snoring loud. So Annabeth asked Rhea once they'd gotten Grover's sneaker readjusted. Who wants your help? What? Rhea looked confused. I do not speak when I sleep. When you were asleep you mumbled F you, I won't help, and a bunch of other insults that I won't tell. Who were you dreaming about? Annabeth said. Oh, I said that while awake in the plane. Rhea thought. Rhea shrugged and told her the dream she had without many details. Annabeth was quiet for a long time. That doesn't sound like Hades. He always appears on a black throne and he never laughs. He's an emo. Got it. Annabeth choked on air. Rhea, what I call them, how I see them anyways. He offered me to return my mother. Rhea rolled her eyes. And help him rise or some shit. Annabeth sighed. I guess if he meant help me rise from the underworld, if he wants war with the Olympians. But why ask you to bring him the Master Bolt if he already has it? Oh, please help me rise from the underworld. That's stupid. It's like you're saying he can't get out from there. In term of army, Hades has the biggest army of undead. I don't think the demigods at camp will be able to fight against that, Rhea said. Annabeth bit her lip. Let's not think about it. Annabeth readjusted Grover cap so it covered his horns. Rhea, you can't barter with Hades, you know that, right? He's deceitful, heartless and greedy. I don't care if his kindly ones weren't as aggressive this time. Shadow's cloak of darkness no longer shrouds him in blackness. Lightning strikes out in anger. Accusations without a clue to danger. See, wrongly accused, its purity abused. Time taunts with its ticking. Each moment of chaos sticking. War readies its might for a cause that's not right, and the thief lays in wait for orders that seal fate. Rhea said. Annabeth looked confused. What? Rhea gave her a blank look. I said what I said. Annabeth stopped for a moment, her brain working around what Rhea said. That sounded like what would do if it was your parent in the underworld? Rhea asked, cutting Annabeth's line of thinking. If it's my dad, I'd let him rot. Rhea nodded. Understandable. I had a stepfather once. What happened to him? Annabeth asked in curiosity. Rhea gave her a grim smile, and suddenly Annabeth did not want to know what happened anymore. Toward the end of their second day on the train, June 13, 8 days before the summer solstice, they passed through some golden hills and over the Mississippi River into St. Louis. Annabeth craned her neck to see the gateway arch. I want to do that, she sighed. Building? Yes, I would love to build something like that. You ever see the Parthenon? Rhea pictures. Someday I'm going to see it in person. I'm going to build the greatest monument to the gods ever, something that'll last 1,000 years. Annabeth said. Who knows, maybe you will have the honor to build buildings on Olympus one day, Rhea said. Annabeth chuckled. Yet I don't think that would happen. New buildings for gods, Athena's daughter designs while Olympus rebuilds. Rhea cackled like the haiku composition was some kind of joke. What the was that a haiku? Annabeth asked in disbelief. Rhea just smiled. She could feel Poseidona's annoyance from her bracelet. He always hated her haikus. Boomer. They pulled into the Amtrak station downtown. The intercom told them they have a 3-hour layover before departing for Denver. Grover stretched before he was even fully awake. He said, "Food, come on, goat boy." Annabeth said, sightseeing the Gateway Arch." She said, "This may be my only chance to ride to the top. Are you coming or not?" Grover and Rhea exchanged looks. Grover shrugged. "As long as there's a snack bar without monsters." Chimera in tow. Echidna appears. "What did I do?" "Oh," Rhea said under her breath with a sigh. "Shut up." Rhea pouted at the bracelet. Boomer. The arch was about a mile from the train station. Late in the day the lines to get in weren't that long. They threaded their way through the underground museum looking at covered wagons and other junk from the 1800s. It wasn't all that thrilling, but Annabeth kept telling them interesting facts about how the arch was built, and Grover kept passing Rhea jelly beans. "You smell anything?" Rhea murmured to Grover. He took his nose out of the jelly bean bag long enough to sniff. "Underground," he said distastefully. "Underground air always smells like monsters." "Probably doesn't mean anything." "Silence, doesn't you know who have a helmet of darkness?" Rhea started. "It's a bit like Annabeth invisibility hat, right?" "Yeah, that's his symbol of power. I saw it next to his seat during the Winter Solstice Council meeting." Annabeth said, "Last time I checked the king of the underworld wasn't one of the Olympians." Rhea said she ignored how her bracelet shook a bit. Annabeth nodded. "It's the only time he's allowed to visit Olympus, the darkest day of the year, but his helm is a lot more powerful than my invisibility hat. If what I've heard is true, it allows him to become darkness." Grover confirmed. "He can melt into shadow or pass through walls. He can't be touched or seen or heard, and he can radiate fear so intense it can drive you insane or stop your heart." "Why do you think all rational creatures fear the dark?" Annabeth frowned for a moment, thinking about something before she pushed the thought aside. "Imaging. He's watching us right now." Rhea smiled. Her companions looked super uncomfortable after that. "Blue jelly beans, yum." Rhea hated elevators with passion and then said elevator stopped to let a fat lady inside. The fat lady being the mother of monsters. "No parents?" the fat lady asked them. "She had beady eyes, pointy coffee-stained teeth, a floppy denim hat and a denim dress that bulged so much she looked like a blue jean blimp." "There below," Annabeth told her. "Scared of heights?" "Oh, the poor darlings," the chihuahua growled. The woman said, Now Sonny, behave." The dog had beady eyes like its owner, intelligent and vicious, and Rhea glared at the dog at the top of the arch. The observation deck reminded Rhea of a tin can with carpeting, and she did not like being confined in a space 600 feet in the air. Annabeth kept talking about structural supports and how she would have made the windows bigger and designed a see-through floor. She probably could have stayed up there for hours, but luckily for both Rhea and Grover, the park ranger announced that the observation deck would be closing in a few minutes. Rhea steered Grover and Annabeth toward the exit, loaded them into the elevator, and she was about to get in when she realized there were already 2 other tourists inside. "No room for her." "Ugh, what a luck," the park ranger said. "Next car lady will get out." Annabeth said, "We'll wait with you." Rhea gave them a thumbs up. Grover and Annabeth both looked nervous, but they let the elevator door slide shut. Their car disappeared down the ramp. Now the only people left on the observation deck were Rhea, a little boy with his parents, the park ranger, and the fat lady with her chihuahua. Rhea looked at Echidna, who smiled at her, forked tongue flickering between her teeth. The chihuahua jumped down and started yapping at Rhea. Now Sonny," the lady said, "does this look like a good time? We have all these nice people here." "Doggy," said the little boy. "Look at Doggy." His parents pulled him back. The chihuahua bared his teeth at Rhea, foam dripping from his black lips. "Well, son," the fat lady sighed, "if you insist." The daughter of the sea narrowed her eyes before she snapped her finger. The little boy, along with his parents and the park ranger, fainted some blood control to make sure they don't interfere or tell the wrong tale. The fat lady chuckled. "Daughter of the sea, how cruel of you." She rolled up her denim sleeves, revealing that the skin of her arms was scaly and green. When she smiled, you could see that her teeth were fangs. The pupils of her eyes were sideways slits like a reptile's. The chihuahua barked louder, and with each bark it grew, first to the size of a Doberman, then to a lion. The bark became a roar. "What can I say?" Rhea said without emotions in her tone as she took out her trident. "I take after my father in that regard." The chimera was now so tall its back rubbed against the roof. It had the head of a lion with a blood-caked mane, the body and hooves of a giant goat, and a serpent for a tail, a 10-foot-long diamond back growing right out of its shaggy behind the rhinestone dog collar still hung around its neck and the plate-sized dog tag was now easy to read. Chimera rapid fire breathing poisons if found please call Tartarut EXT 954 Tartarus has a phone number. Rhea blinked. The snake lady made a hissing noise that might have been laughter. Be honored Rhea Jackson. Lord Zeus rarely allows me to test a hero with one of my brood, for I am the mother of monsters, the terrible Echidna. Rhea couldn't stop herself. Echidna the anteater, she howled, her reptilian face turning brown and green with rage. I hate it when people say that I hate Australia, naming that ridiculous animal after me. For that, Rhea Jackson, my son shall destroy you. Rhea gave her a blank look. Yeah, get in line, there's a lot of people who want to kill me and you aren't even in the top 50. The chimera charged with it mouth open to take a bite from Rhea. Yeah, big mistake. The moment the monster opened it mouth, the demi-goddess thrust her trident at the same time into the roof of its mouth. Monsters lessons how to attack 101. When a demigod has a sword or a spear, use your claw, cause there's a 90% chance that the demigod will attack your mouth if you open it. Clearly someone was neglecting their lessons. The chimera turned to dust, leaving a pair of daggers behind as a spoil of war, and Rhea picked up her trident and the daggers. Echidna screamed in rage, cursed daughter of Poseidon, I shall have your head. Rhea threw her trident at Echidna, who dodged to the side. Echidna smirked, ha, how will you defend yourself now that you threw your weapon? She walked up to the trident. I shall kill you with your own trident. Before she could even touch it, the trident floated by its own and thrusted forward. Echidna turned to dust. It quickly flew to her hand and she grabbed the trident. With a swift flick of her wrist she twirled the trident a few times, and with a sudden motion she slammed the bottom of the trident onto the ground, causing a jagged crack to split the floor beneath her feet. Time to get down. Rhea shook her head. For the mother of monsters to lose that easily is disappointing. I am going to be honest, I never thought that it was going to work, she said as she got into the elevator. You threw the trident knowing that there's a chance the plan isn't going to work, Poseidon stated, his voice echoing from the bracelet. You're going to find out that monsters, no matter how some are powerful, are extremely stupid, and I am lucky that she was a prideful idiot. Rhea responded in her mind, me dying by a trident would be ironically poetic. Sup bitches and brothers and non-binary hoes, her majesty has graced you with her presence. Rhea smirked as she looked at Annabeth and Grover. Grover hugged her. What happened up there? Nothing important, killed a chimera here and Echidna there, Rhea said. Annabeth opened her mouth. Rhea raised a finger. Don't ask questions, I will not answer now. If you'll excuse me for a moment I shall do something quick, she said as she walked to the Mississippi River. Yoahu for the messenger Nereid that is in the river. I shall meet you at the beach in Santa Monica. See ya, said Nereid was confused. So my dad want me in Santa Monica, let's go. Rhea started to walk while humming under her breath. War plotted and planned to lead them to doom, but she knew and saw through his gloom. Against all odds they returned with might. She defeated the trickster and won the fight. You ever wonder what's going on in her head? Annabeth asked Grover. You don't want to know, Grover said. I don't want to know, and let's keep it that way. Is it normal for her to start spouting rhymes all the time? Annabeth asked. Grover thought about it for a moment. Sometimes, but never this much. I'm surprised she finds the right words. Annabeth decided to keep her suspicions to herself. Let's try to contact Chiron, Annabeth said. I want to tell him about your father's summon. They wandered through downtown for about half an hour. The air was dry and hot, which felt weird after the humidity of St. Louis. Finally they found an empty do-it-yourself car wash. They veered toward the stall farthest from the street, keeping our eyes open for patrol cars. There were 3 adolescents hanging out at a car wash without a car. Any cop worth his donuts would figure they were up to no good. Grover took out the spray gun. It's 75 cents, he grumbled. I've only got 2 quarters left. Annabeth, don't look at me, she said. Rhea is the one who holds the money. The only thing I have on me is the bag of drachma. Grover turned to look at Rhea. Explain. Rhea said. We're going to use Iris messaging. Annabeth said. The rainbow goddess Iris carries messages for the gods if you know how to ask, and she's not too busy. She'll do the same for half-bloods. You summon the goddess with a spray gun unless you know an easier way to make a rainbow, Grover said. Rhea gave him a look. Suddenly water forcibly emerged from the spray gun and stayed floating in the air while copying rain, but water never touched the floor. It continued to go down, then up in a circle. The light shined perfectly and created a rainbow. Free water. Rhea smiled. Annabeth was a bit impressed, but she snapped out of it and took a drachma in her hand. She raised the coin over her head. Oh goddess, accept our offering. She threw the drachma into the rainbow. It disappeared in a golden shimmer. Half-blood Hill, Annabeth requested. For a moment, nothing Happened then there were looking through the mist at strawberry fields and the Long Island Sound in the distance. They seemed to be on the porch of the big house. Standing with his back to them at the railing was a sandy-haired guy in shorts and an orange tank top. He was holding a bronze sword and seemed to be staring intently at something down in the meadow. Rhea rolled her eyes. It's Luke. Rhea, his scarred face broke into a grin. Is that Annabeth too? Thank the gods. Are you guys okay? We're fine. Annabeth stammered. She was madly straightening her dirty t-shirt, trying to comb the loose hair out of her face. We thought Chiron, I mean there's nothing worse than to see someone having a crush on someone else. Rhea nearly gagged. He's down at the cabins. Luke's smile faded. We're having some issues with the campers. Listen, is everything cool with you? Is Grover all right? I'm right here, Grover called as stepped into Luke's line of vision. What kind of issues? Happened just then. A big Lincoln Continental pulled into the car wash with its stereo turned to maximum hip-hop. As the car slid into the next stall, the bass from the subwoofers vibrated so much it shook the pavement. Chiron had to. What's that noise? Luke yelled. Rhea dropped the water, cutting the conversation, and Annabeth turned to look at her. Rhea, sorry, I lost concentration. That was a lie. She could control the water in her sleep with no problem. She just didn't want to see Luke's face anymore. Then necessary. That's it. Come on, let's find some dinner. Rhea smiled. You two look like you're going to fall any minutes, and so do I. A few minutes later they were sitting at a booth in a gleaming chrome diner. All around them families were eating burgers and drinking malts and sodas. Finally the waitress came over. She raised her eyebrow skeptically. Well, Rhea said, we want to order dinner. You kids have money to pay for it, she said quite rudely too, while chewing her gum like a cow. You don't have to be rude, you know, Rhea said, and yes, we do have the money. Grover's lower lip quivered and Annabeth looked ready to pass out from hunger. Suddenly a motorcycle the size of a baby elephant had pulled up to the curb. All conversation in the diner stopped. The motorcycle's headlight glared red. Its gas tank had flames painted on it and a shotgun holster riveted to either side complete with shotguns. The seat was leather, but leather that looked like, well, Caucasian human skin. The guy on the bike would have made pro wrestlers run for mama. He was dressed in a red muscle shirt and black jeans and a black leather duster with a hunting knife strapped to his thigh. He wore red wraparound shades and he had a cruel face, wicked, with an oily black crew cut and cheeks that were scarred from many fights. As he walked into the diner, a hot dry wind blew through the place. All the people rose as if they were hypnotized, but the biker waved his hand dismissively and they all sat down again. Everybody went back to their conversations. The waitress blinked as if somebody had just pressed the rewind button on her brain. She asked them again, you kids have money to pay for it? The biker said, it's on me. He slid into our booth, which was way too small for him, and crowded Annabeth against the window. He looked up at the waitress, who was gaping at him, and said, are you still here? He pointed at her and she stiffened. She turned as if she'd been spun around, then marched back toward the kitchen. The biker looked at Rhea, who looked unfazed by the aura he was sending her way. Not even an inch of anger boiled inside of her. What a weak aura. I was crushed by one stronger than this, Rhea thought, thinking about Poseidonis' torture training. He gave her a wicked grin. So you're old seaweeds, kid. The words may to have been directed to Poseidonis specifically, but the god was still offended. You know who I am, little cousin Ares. Ares grinned and took off his shades. Where his eyes should have been there was only fire, empty sockets glowing with miniature nuclear explosions. That's right, punk. I heard you gave one of my sons a concussion. Rhea smiled. I did. That's cool. I don't fight my kids' fights. You know what I'm here for. I heard you were in town. I got a little proposition for you. The waitress came back with heaping trays of food, cheeseburgers, fries, onion rings, and chocolate shakes. Ares handed her a few gold drachmas. She looked nervously at the coins. But these aren't. Ares pulled out his huge knife and started cleaning his fingernails. Problem, sweetheart. The waitress swallowed, then left with the gold. Rhea ignored all that and started to take a bite from her plate. Anyways, what do you want? Nothing much. I left my shield at an abandoned water park here in town. I was going on a little date with my girlfriend Aphrodite. Yes, go on. Rhea was bored. Ares gritted his teeth but decided to ignore the interruption. We were interrupted. I left my shield behind. I want you to fetch it for me, and let me guess, you can't do it yourself cause you don't feel like it. The fire in his eye sockets glowed a little hotter. A god is giving you an opportunity to prove yourself. Rhea Jackson, will you prove yourself a coward? He leaned forward. If me refusing to fetch your shield for you makes me a coward, then your inability to get it yourself makes you an incompetent god. Rhea smiled at him and leaned forward too to meet him in the middle of the table and started to whisper in his ear, or maybe you're the cowardly one. I remember the story of Hephaestus catching you and Aphrodite in a net. Is that why you couldn't get your shield? Because there's a trap. The corner of Poseidonis' mouth lifted a bit after what he heard. The daughter of the sea sat down with a smirk on her face. She could feel the anger radiating from Ares in waves. Sweet smell of anger. Rhea thought her companions looked nervous. I know all about your quest, punk. When that item was first stolen, Zeus sent his best out looking for it. Apollo, Athena, Artemis and me. Naturally, if I couldn't sniff out a weapon that powerful, he licked his lips as if the very thought of the master bolt made him hungry. Well, if I couldn't find it, you got no hope. Nevertheless, I'm trying to give you the benefit of the doubt. Your dad and I go way back. He's keeping everything and I'm almost impressed he didn't blow up. Rhea thought you mean the slaying of Halirothias. Yet I know. Rhea ignored Annabeth's frantic gesture of shut up, I respect you for that one. Sarcasm. Ares smirked. Anyways, I'm the one who told him my suspicions about old corpse breath. You told him Hades stole the bolt, Rhea said before she took a sip from her drink, sure framing somebody to start a war. Oldest trick in the book. I recognized it immediately. In a way, you got me to thank for your little quest, Ares proudly said. Rhea sighed. Listen, I'm tired. If this was a game I would have skipped your whole NPC dialogue. Alright fine, we will do this side quest of yours. Where's the fucking shield? Annabeth wanted to jump from the closest window and get away, so did Grover. The water park is a mile west on Delancey, you can't miss it. Look for the Tunnel of Love right after. That being said, Ares was gone. Not good, Grover said. Ares sought you out. Rhea, this is not good. Annabeth then said, I hate Ares as much as anybody, but we don't ignore the gods unless you want serious bad fortune. A true god has no need for support, Rhea commented. Maybe it's a problem that requires brains, Annabeth said. Ares has strength, that's all he has. Even strength has to bow to wisdom. Sometimes a true god has no need for support, Rhea repeated, yet he acted almost scared talking about that park. Annabeth and Grover glanced nervously at each other. Annabeth said, I'm afraid we'll have to find out. The sun was sinking behind the mountains by the time they found the water park. Judging from the sign, it once had been called Waterland. The main gate was padlocked and topped with barbed wire. Inside, huge dry water slides and tubes and pipes curled everywhere, leading to empty pools. Old tickets and advertisements fluttered around the asphalt. With night coming on, the place looked sad and creepy. If Ares brings his girlfriend here for a date, then he should be ashamed of himself, Rhea said, staring up at the barbed wire. Rhea, Annabeth warned, be more respectful, he's still a god and his girlfriend is very temperamental. Silly me, they deserve each other. Rhea rolled her eyes. Maya, Grover's shoes sprouted wings. He flew over the fence, did an unintended somersault in midair, then stumbled to a landing on the opposite side. He dusted off his jeans as if he'd planned the whole thing. You guys coming? Annabeth and Rhea had to climb the old-fashioned way, holding down the barbed wire for each other as they crawled over the top. The shadows grew long as we walked through the park, checking out the attractions. There was Ankle Biter Island. Head over, Wedgie and Dude, where's my swimsuit? They found a souvenir shop that had been left open. Merchandise still lined the shelves, snow globes, pencils, postcards and racks of clothes. Annabeth said, fresh clothes. She snatched an entire row of stuff of the racks and disappeared into the changing room. A few minutes later she came out in Waterland flower print shorts, a big red Waterland shirt and commemorative Waterland surf shoes. A Waterland backpack was slung over her shoulder, obviously stuffed with more goodies. What the heck? Grover shrugged. Soon all three of them were decked out like walking advertisements for the defunct theme park. They continued searching for the Tunnel of Love, and then right in front of them was an empty pool that would have been awesome for skateboarding. It was at least 50 yards across and shaped like a bowl. Around the rim, a dozen bronze statues of Cupid stood guard with wings spread and bows ready to fire. On the opposite side from us, a tunnel opened up, probably where the water flowed into when the pool was full. The sign above it read, Thrill Ride. Oh love, this is not your parents' Tunnel of Love. Grover crept toward the edge. Guys, look, marooned at the bottom of the pool was a pink and white two-seater boat with a canopy over the top and little hearts painted all over it. In the left seat, glinting in the fading light, was Ares's shield, a polished circle of bronze. Annabeth ran her fingers along the base of the nearest Cupid statue. There's a Greek letter carved here, she said. ETA, I wonder. I don't smell any monsters, Grover said after he sniffed. I'm going down. Wait. Rhea grabbed him. Grover nearly lost his balance. What a trap was set by the crafter inside. This place is full of fake web weavers to hide. He crafted them with great care to scare his victims caught within his snare, Rhea said. Grover deadpanned. Rhea, this is really not the time for poetry. Rhea looked annoyed. Crafter Annabeth frowned. Fake web weavers, spiders. Her eyes widened. There are spiders here. No wait, you said fake web weavers, so fake spiders. Crafter eta Hephaestus. Yes, Rhea sighed. Oh, finally there's a trap made by Hephaestus here, and it's why Ares avoided this place. So the whole poetry thing wasn't nonsense? Grover asked. You're an oracle. Rhea deadpanned. No, but you just gave us a prophecy, or Something close to it at least, Annabeth said. That was pure poetry with warning, Rhea said before she summoned water from the pipe and directed it to the shield along with the pink scarf there. In other words, a prophecy. Annabeth said. It's bullshit, Rhea said as she levitated the shield and scarf with water and bringing it to her. Rhea stopped denying the truth. Annabeth snapped. I had my suspicions and you confirmed it. War plotted and planned to lead them to doom, but she knew and saw through his gloom. War came to us, Ares came to us, and he led us here, but you knew he was trying to get us in trouble, and so you stopped us from falling into the trap. Rhea deadpanned and grabbed the shield and the scarf that reeks of heavy perfume. Rhea slapped Grover's nose away from it and the satyr snapped out of the magic. All right. Annabeth took a deep breath before she looked around for a moment and found what she looked for connected to one of the cupids. See that wire there? Yeah. Rhea then paused. Annabeth, I swear, if you're going to do what I think you're going to do, anything to prove you wrong. Annabeth then cut the wire. Noise erupted all around them of a million gears grinding as if the whole pool were turning into one giant machine. Thankfully the trio weren't in the pool. Up on the rim the cupid statues were drawing their bows into firing position and shot, but not at the demigods. They fired at each other across the rim of the pool. Up on the rim the cupid statues were drawing their bows into firing position and shot, but not at the demigods. They fired at each other across the rim of the pool. Silky cables trailed from the arrows arcing over the pool and anchoring where they landed to form a huge golden asterisk. Then smaller metallic threads started weaving together magically between the main strands, making a net. The trio watched in silence. The cupids' heads popped open. Out came video cameras. Spotlights rose up all around the pool, blinding the pool with illumination, and a loudspeaker voice boomed, live to Olympus in 1 minute 59 seconds 58. And then it happened. An army of wind-up creepy crawl eyes, bronze gear bodies, spindly legs, little pincer mouths all appeared in the pool. Spiders! Annabeth screamed. Rhea grabbed Annabeth and Grover's hand and started to run to the other direction. See, I was right. Annabeth was proud of herself. You put yourself in a situation where you face your phobia just to prove you're right. Grover looked at her like she was crazy. You're insane. You tell anyone and I will end you. Rhea said. Swear on the sticks you won't. I do it. Swear you won't tell anyone that I know the future or tell prophecies. Annabeth sighed. I swear on the sticks that I won't tell anyone about you knowing the future or your ability to tell prophecies. Good, now let's go back to Ares. The war god was waiting for them in the dinner parking lot. Well, he said, you didn't get yourself killed. Rhea threw the shield at him. Annabeth and Grover caught their breath. Ares grabbed the shield and spun it in the air like pizza dough. It changed form, melting into a bulletproof vest. He slung it across his back. See that truck over there? He pointed to an 18-wheeler parked across the street from the diner. That's your ride, take you straight to LA with one stop in Vegas. The 18-wheeler had a sign on the back, Kindness International Humane Zoo Transport, warning, live wild animals. Ares snapped his fingers. The back door of the truck unlatched. Free ride west, punk, and here's a little something for doing the job. He slung a blue nylon backpack off his handlebars and tossed it to Rhea. Inside were fresh clothes for all of them, $20 in cash, a pouch full of golden drachmas, and a bag of double stuff Oreos. Like we don't already have our bags, Rhea thought. But the lightning bolt is here, that's all that matters. Thank you, Lord Ares. Grover bowed. Thanks a lot. Rhea gave Ares an innocent look. You're pretty smug for a guy who runs from Cupid statues. He glared at her. We'll meet again, Rhea Jackson. Next time you're in a fight, watch your back. He revved his Harley, then roared off down Delancey Street. Annabeth said, that was not smart, Rhea. You would have known if I cared, but as you can see, I don't give a fuck. You don't want a god as your enemy, especially not that god. Hey guys, Grover said. I hate to interrupt, but he pointed toward the diner. At the register the last two customers were paying their check. Two men in identical black coveralls with a white logo on their backs that matched the one on the Kindness International truck. If we were taking the Zoo Express, Grover said, we need to hurry. They ran across the street and quickly went into the truck. Sitting in a row of filthy metal cages were three of the most pathetic zoo animals they have ever beheld. A zebra, a male albino lion, and a springbok. Someone had thrown the lion a sack of turnips which he obviously didn't want to eat. The zebra and the springbok had each gotten a styrofoam tray of hamburger meat. The zebra's mane was matted with chewing gum like somebody had been spitting on it in their spare time. The springbok had a stupid silver birthday balloon tied to one of his horns that read over the hill. Apparently nobody had wanted to get close enough to the lion to mess with him, but the poor thing was pacing around on soiled blankets in a space way too small for him. Panting from the stuffy heat of the trailer, he had flies buzzing around his pink eyes and his ribs showed through his white fur. This is kindness, Grover yelled. Human zoo transport. He probably would have gone right back outside to beat up the truckers with his reed pipes, and Rhea would have joined him, but just then the truck's engine roared to life. The trailer started shaking and we were forced to sit down or fall down. They huddled in the corner on some mildewed feed sacks trying to ignore the smell and the heat and the flies. Grover talked to the animals in a series of goat bleats, but they just stared at him sadly. Annabeth was in favor of breaking the cages and freeing them on the spot, but I pointed out it wouldn't do much. Rhea gave the meat to the lion and the turnips to the zebra and the springbok along with water. Grover calmed the springbok down while Annabeth used her knife to cut the balloon off his horn. Rhea was the one to cut the gum from the zebra's mane after asking the poor animal to sit. We shall help them escape in the morning. For now we need to rest, Rhea said after adding more water in the lion bowl. Thank you. Rhea had to do a double take and confirm that yes, she understood the lion when he spoke, but she decided to not say anything. She told Grover to promise the animals they will help them more in the morning. Then they settled in for night. Grover curled up on a turnip sack. Annabeth opened their bag of double stuff Oreos and nibbled on one half-heartedly. They rode in silence for a few miles, bumping around on the feed sacks. The zebra munched a turnip. The lion licked the last of the hamburger meat off his lips and looked at Rhea hopefully. Rhea approached the lion to pet him on the head and apologized. The lion let out a huff before he leaned into her hand for more caress. Annabeth rubbed her necklace like she was thinking deep, strategic thoughts. Rhea walked before she sat beside her to sleep in this nightmare. Rhea was standing at the edge of Tartarus looking down. Truly my lord. A voice she recognized belonged to Luke said next to her, you are well named the Crooked One, but was it really necessary? I could have brought you what I stole directly. You, Cronus said with scorn, you have already shown your limits. You would have failed me completely had I not intervened. But my lord, peace, little servant. Our 6 months have bought us much. Zeus's anger has grown. Poseidon has played his most desperate card. Now we shall use it against him. Shortly you shall have the reward you wish and your revenge as soon as both items are delivered into my hands. But wait, she is here. What, Luke tensed. You summoned her, my lord? No, Cronus growled. Blast her father's blood, she is too changeable, too unpredictable. The girl brought herself hither. Impossible for a weakling such as you. Perhaps, Cronus snarled, so you wish to dream of your quest, young half-blood? Then I will oblige. The scene changed. Black skeleton hands grabbed her and tried to drag her into the pit, only for someone to grab her from behind and pull her. Rhea turned around to meet the blue eyes of Poseidonis, and when she woke up she found him standing beside her outside of the Trident. Thank you, Rhea mouthed at him. Poseidonis just scoffed before he returned to the plane again. The trucks stopped. Grover said, we think they're coming to check on the animals. Hide, Annabeth hissed. Annabeth had it easy. She just put on her magic cap and disappeared. Grover and Rhea had to dive behind feed sacks and hope they looked like turnips. The trailer doors creaked open. Sunlight and heat poured in. Man, one of the truckers said, waving his hand in front of his ugly nose, I wish I hauled appliances. He climbed inside and poured some water from a jug into the animal's dishes. You hot big boy, he asked the lion, then splashed the rest of the bucket right in the lion's face. The lion roared in indignation. Yeah, the man said, at moments like this I remember why I hate humanity. Rhea mumbled. Only Poseidonis and Grover heard her. Grover looked downright murderous and he agreed internally with Rhea. The trucker threw the antelope a squashed looking Happy Meal bag. He smirked at the zebra. How ya doin', Stripes? Least we'll be getting rid of you. This stop you like magic shows. You're gonna love this one. They're gonna saw you in half. The zebra, wild-eyed with fear, looked straight at Rhea. Free me, my lady, please. Hugh. The trucker suddenly put a hand on his heart before he fell on the floor, not moving. Maurice. Another man entered. Maurice, what the heck, Hugh? The same thing happened to him. Annabeth appeared with her mouth open and cautiously approached the two men, putting 2 fingers on their pulse. They're unconscious. Weird pity. Rhea calmly walked up to the animal cages and opened them. The zebra burst out. It turned to Rhea and bowed. Thank you, my lady. Grover held up his hands and said something to the zebra in goat talk like a blessing. There was yelling and screaming and cars honking. They rushed to the doors of the trailer in time to see the zebra galloping down a wide boulevard lined with hotels and casinos and neon signs. I just released a zebra in Las Vegas, Rhea said. Now would be a good time to leave. Annabeth said, the other animals first, Grover said. Rhea broke the locks and Grover raised his hands and spoke the same goat blessing he'd used for the zebra. Good luck, Rhea said, told the animals. The lion bowed to her like the zebra did before he and the springbok went off together into the streets. Some tourists screamed. Most just backed off and took pictures, probably thinking it was some kind of stunt by one of the casinos. Will the animals be okay? Rhea asked Grover. Don't worry, he said, I placed a satyr's sanctuary on them. Good, come on, let's get out of this filthy truck, Annabeth said. Rhea turned to look at the 2 men for a moment. There was a very inaudible pop sound. Satisfied, she followed the other 2. They must have taken a wrong turn because they found themselves at a dead end, standing in front of the Lotus Hotel and Casino. The entrance was a huge neon flower, the petals lighting up and blinking. Rhea groaned. Oh no. The doorman smiled at them. Hey kids, you look tired. You want to come in and sit down? They could let it inside and took one look around and Grover said, whoa. The whole lobby was a giant game room, but what caught Ria's eyes was the Mercedes 2005. Hey, a bellhop said, welcome to the Lotus Casino, here's your room key, the bill's taken care of, no extra charges, no tips, just go on up to the top floor, room 4001. If you need anything like extra bubbles for the hot tub or skeet targets for the shooting range or whatever, just call the front desk. Here are your Lotus cash cards, they work in the restaurants and on all the games and rides. He then smiled, enjoy your stay. All you guys go upstairs, I will go do something quick, Ria said before she run up to where the car is. She approached one of the workers. Excuse me, how can I win that car? The man smiled at her. Are you here to try your luck, win a jackpot and the car is yours? Alright, just this once. Ria took a deep breath and looked at the ceiling. Tick, my lady, listen, I know I never prayed to you besides when it exams day, but please, I'm begging you, make me lucky just this once so I can win this. I will make any offering you want, send me a list and I will bring you the things you want, just please make me win the jackpot. You have no dignity, Posey Adonis commented. Shut the fuck up, asshole, Ria thought. Tick blinked as she looked down at the demi-goddess that prayed to her. She shrugged, why not? Ria stood in front of the slot and took a deep breath, used the Lotus card, then pulled the handle and hoped. Then the slot stopped. Oh my god, congratulations, we have a winner, I got the fucking jackpot, bitches, Ria screamed before she took the car key from the man's hands. Can you bring the car to the door? I will wait for you there. Sure, little lady. Ria ran up to the elevator. She entered a shop that sells sport bags and bought one along with a ball. Once she reached the room door, she slammed it open. Ria, wah, get up, pack anything valuable and let's go, Ria said while putting anything that they could need in the bag. We need to go now. Well, the car was there waiting for them at the door. Ria took out the keys, opened the door and pushed Annabeth and Grover in. The Lotus bellhop hurried up to her. Well, now are you ready for your platinum cards? We are leaving, Ria told him. Such a shame, he said. He looked heartbroken. We just added an entire new floor full of games for platinum card members. I am sorry, but if it makes you feel better, I did enjoy my time here, Ria said as she opened the driver's seat door. He gave her a shy smile before he let the double door open so the car can go through, and Ria drove. As she drove in the street, Annabeth noticed the date. It was June 18, 3 days left until the summer solstice. Annabeth said out loud, we were stuck there for 3 days. Grover looked shocked too. What Lotus Casino? Lotus Eaters, Ria said. Annabeth groaned, I can't believe I fell for it. She then frowned. Hey Ria, yeah, how do you know how to drive? Hey.